Hello and welcome to No Drop. The Rapha Festive 500 is over, and I've got my totals for those 8 days. I rode 623.66 miles, which I think is just a little over 1,000 kilometers. I was on the bike for 41 hours, 33 minutes, and I did 31,739 feet of climbing. So just under 32,000 feet. It was a monster week. That is the biggest week I've ever had on the bike by probably 30 or 40%. And I'm really happy that I feel so good at the end of it. I finished it off with a 200-mile ride with my buddy Christopher, his first double century. Incredible job, Christopher. And from that ride, I do have like a few achy spots that have kind of popped up. That is normal for me after double century efforts. So I understand what those aches and pains are. I know that they're going away. I know how to deal with them really well. They don't cause me any concern, really. So very fortunate that I'm finding myself in such a good place. I did 3 centuries. I did 2 40-ish mile recovery rides. And then yesterday, the very final day of the Festive, was a 210-mile ride from LA to Santa Barbara and then back. That one was wild. It's a route I really, really enjoy. But we faced, nature was not on our side for this ride. So we rolled out at midnight, which is a time I'm usually a big, big fan of. We rolled out at midnight, experienced some of the coldest temperatures on the bike I've ever had to deal with. And then typically, for those not in the Southern California area, when you're coming from the north to the south, so from Santa Barbara to LA, 95% of the time is just a nice, consistent tailwind. However, we had a horrible, consistent headwind that we had to just battle and survive. Fortunately, my riding partner, Chris, is a spectacular rider, and we just took turns being slow in the front, recovering, in the back, and just kept switching it out. And we, even though it was really challenging, your second century is going to be in a consistent headwind. Even though that was a big challenge, we dealt with it really, really well. All those rides throughout the week, everyone had challenges, but the things that helped me be successful were, 1, nutrition. Eating, eating, eating. It's so important. I was eating constantly as I was riding. I was taking breaks. I was eating even more. I had tons of food on me at all times. Immediately when I would get off the bike and I would get home, I had a great little recovery routine. So just some quick calories, and then always within, an hour, maybe 2 hours, I'm sitting down and I'm having a full meal. So if I wasn't on the bike, I was probably having food. And if I wasn't having food, I was probably resting. Exercise, fuel, and recovery, those are the 3 things to a successful fitness program. And this last week was just a great reminder how if you build really good habits in all of those areas that they can take you really, really far in your fitness pursuits. I am just so incredibly happy with how this week turned out. It's always a little, I don't know, intimidating, scary to sort of dive into the unknown and push yourself to a new limit and find out exactly what you're capable of and what your body can take. I feel like between the fitness that I've built and through the recovery habits that I've built and the nutrition habits that I've built, all those things really came together and made for a super successful, really fun week. Somehow my body showed up for every single ride that I did. And I was still able to be social to a degree. And I just consider that such a positive path to be on and to find yourself on. So very grateful for everything that I was able to accomplish this week, and really, really stoked on what was by far the biggest week I have ever been able to pull off physically. I am thinking it's going to be some good recovery going into the new year. I would expect for a full recovery from an effort like that, week-long effort with over 600 miles, I would sort of anticipate maybe 3 to 4 weeks before I feel like I've really gotten out of that hole that I've put myself in. So we'll be focusing on still trying to ride consistently, maybe taking a couple more days off here and there, really trying to focus on keeping the intensity low. So really just want to focus on that zone 2, maybe get into zone 3 riding. That'll kind of make for the best recovery situation. Always be eating, always be hydrating. Whenever possible, try to get a little extra rest. Big efforts like that take massive, massive amounts of recovery, and it just takes time to get out of these things. I will be probably increasing my protein intake a little bit. Going to really try to stay disciplined to focus on whole, unprocessed foods. Really, now that I have so much recovery to do, I just want to put in the best fuel and nutrition possible to make all that stuff happen. So now that my activity is a little lower, I'm going to minimize the processed foods, minimize the junk foods, and really kind of get back and reconnect with just a much more balanced, nutritionally dense eating habits, just more quality. I hope everybody had a fantastic Festive 500, and start thinking about your goals for this next year if you have not already. You know, if there's anything that I can help with, please send me a DM on Instagram, and I'm more than happy to help out and let you know if I have any insights that might make your goals possible. You can always consider me a resource for somebody who wants to get you closer to the things you want to be doing. So let me know if I can help, and if I have the time, I am always willing to have a conversation. It's been an amazing end of the year. I'm so appreciative of just everything that happened in this last week. To everybody who came out to join me on rides, thank you so much. The community is definitely a very motivating factor. So I really appreciate everybody I got to ride with. everybody that sent me kind messages, supportive messages. Just thank you so much. And there will be lots more in 2024. So stay tuned. Let me know things you want to hear about, and wishing you all a very happy 2024.